they expected to find secrets. When U.S. Navy SEALs entered a quiet compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, in May of 2011, they weren't just hunting a man. They were hunting answers. Answers to questions the world had been asking for nearly a decade. And when it was over, when Osama bin Laden was dead and the compound fell silent, what they carried out wasn't just weapons or documents. They carried out hard drives, old computers, USB sticks, DVDs, memory cards, digital fragments of a man who had reshaped the world. For years, those hard drives remained locked away, classified, sealed from public view. Rumors spread. Some imagined master plans, others expected coded instructions, hidden threats, or proof of future attacks. But what was actually on bin Laden's hard drives was far more unsettling than anyone expected. Because buried inside that data wasn't just terrorism, it was humanity. The files recovered from the compound revealed a man still deeply involved in al-Qaeda's operations, but not in the way people imagined. Bin Laden wasn't commanding armies from a bunker. He wasn't directing attacks in real time. He was isolated, cut off, reduced to writing letters by hand and sending messages through couriers who sometimes took weeks or months to return. From his hiding place, bin Laden complained about poor communication, slow responses, and failed operations. He scolded his followers like a distant manager, frustrated with employees he could no longer control. The most wanted man in the world was losing relevance. But the real shock came when analysts opened the personal folders. Alongside propaganda videos and operational notes were things that felt painfully ordinary. Family photos, children's cartoons, episodes of Tom and Jerry, Hollywood movies, video games. There were pirated films on those drives, titles like Ice Age, Cars, even Ants, animated stories about friendship, family, and cooperation, sitting quietly beside violent extremist material. It was jarring, uncomfortable, because it shattered the simple image people wanted to believe, that evil looks alien, monstrous, unrecognizable. Instead, it looked disturbingly familiar. Experts who later reviewed the material described it as a psychological paradox. Bin Laden consumed Western media while preaching hatred against the West. He watched the same kinds of movies millions of families watched, while being responsible for unimaginable violence. It forced intelligence analysts to confront a difficult truth. Monsters don't live in darkness all the time. Sometimes they laugh at cartoons. The drives also revealed a man obsessed with his own legacy. Bin Laden worried constantly about how history would remember him. He wrote about media strategy, branding, messaging. He critiqued al-Qaeda's public image, frustrated that civilian casualties were turning Muslims against the movement. In private letters, he warned followers that killing innocent people was damaging their cause, not because it was morally wrong, but because it was strategically bad. That distinction mattered. It revealed a man who saw human lives not as sacred or sinful, but as numbers in a calculation. And yet, within the same files, there were letters to his family filled with concern. He worried about their safety. He gave advice. He asked about their health. The contrast was disturbing. The architect of terror, as a father, as a husband, as a man aging in isolation, hiding from drones he believed could strike at any moment. He reportedly avoided sunlight, rarely left the compound, feared betrayal, feared capture, feared being forgotten. In one sense, the hard drives exposed the operational mind of a terrorist leader. In another, they exposed something far more uncomfortable: the banality of extremism. There was no grand final manifesto hidden on those drives, no cinematic confession, no secret weapon, just years of digital clutter, repetition, obsession, fear. a man trapped inside his own ideology, replaying the same narratives, reinforcing the same beliefs, disconnected from the world he was trying to shape. When parts of the files were eventually released to the public years later, reactions were mixed. Some felt relief. There was no imminent threat hidden inside. Others felt confusion, and many felt something harder to name: disillusionment. Because the contents didn't make bin Laden seem larger than life. They made him smaller, more fragile, more human. And that may be the most unsettling revelation of all. The hard drives remind us that evil doesn't always announce itself with fire and fury. Sometimes it sits quietly, watching cartoons, writing emails, clinging to relevance, convincing itself that destruction is purpose. Understanding that doesn't excuse the damage, but it forces us to confront a deeper truth, that the line between ordinary life and catastrophic harm is thinner than we like to believe. Those hard drives weren't just evidence, they were a mirror. And what they reflected wasn't a supervillain hiding in the shadows. It was a man. And the terrifying reality that men like him don't come from another world. They come from ours.